Hello, welcome to Angels Lounge, that one program dedicated to talking with Africa's most daring angel investors. We go into their spaces, we go into their minds, we try to find out what they're thinking and how they make these decisions. And angels are usually very experienced people who have been there, done that, and they have a Jesse to show. On the program today, I have with me a very special guest, one I like to call my friend, somebody I respect a lot. He's a global real estate consultant. He's an international certified commercial lawyer. He's an NFT auditor, blockchain enthusiast, somebody who has done a lot in the field of business, Web3, real estate, and he's just an all-round expert. Ladies and gentlemen, join me as I welcome Gareth Shepperson. Yay! I think, yeah, Gareth, that one of the things I like the most about you is your smile. It's just so gentle, so peaceful. Good to have you today join us in the studio. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Solomon. I really appreciate it.
Great stuff, great stuff. Where are you?
I'm in Lagos. I live in Lagos most of the time. I travel back and forth, sometimes to South Africa, to Dubai, wherever the business takes me.
Great stuff. And in preparing for this meeting, I knew I was going to get into it right away, and I was just going to ask you, why stay back in Africa? Why not try to do business in Europe and the US, or maybe Dubai or the Orient? Why Africa? What's going on with you?
Well, Solomon, I'm an African. I've lived my whole life in South Africa. My parents, my grandparents all lived their whole lives in South Africa. We don't consider ourselves anything other than Africans, and this is where we belong. And to be quite frank, from a business perspective, it's what I understand. So I am suited to Africa, and Africa is suited to me, I believe.
Yeah, I like that. And so, how do you describe the landscape, the business landscape in Africa, as compared to a Dubai, for example, or the UK, where I know you also have concerns? Even in the US, what have you noticed that is peculiar to us Africans?
Okay, I don't know too much about the US at the moment, other than that it's a bit tougher to get in than it used to be. As for the Africa in general, I think, there's a saying in South Africa: Africa is not for sissies, which means that Africa is not for the scared. You got to be brave to be operating in Africa, and this comes. Everyone knows about the dangers of crime and corruption and all of the negative things that come with it. But one of the biggest problems that I've found is that small businesses are faced with so much red tape that it is very difficult to get off the ground, whether it's registering your company, registering for VAT or tax or whatever it is else that's required, opening bank accounts and so on. It seems to me African governments make it extraordinarily difficult to get businesses off the ground. And if you compare that to, for example, Dubai, where it's exceptionally easy to start a business and open a bank account and so on, because they are business friendly, tourist friendly, visa friendly, everything seems to be designed to make it as easy as possible for people to travel and do business. Whereas in the rest of Africa, it seems as if governments, even if they tried, could not have made it more difficult. So those are the basic foundation for where businesses have to operate in Africa. On the positive side, for attorneys like myself, it's really good news, because there's so much red tape and commercial law that applies to business that we can make a living out of advising clients on doing it. But it is really detrimental, in my opinion, to a rapidly expanding small business sector when every sort of roadblock is put in the way of of founders and small businesses.
Great stuff. So, I haven't done business over the years in South Africa. Now, you're operating from Lagos. Have you noticed a difference in the Western African space and South Africa, and not just South Africa as a nation, but all that Southern African bloc as a trading space?
Okay, I don't know a lot about the some of the countries surrounding South Africa. For example, Mozambique comes from a Portuguese-based legal system, which is a bit different, and the language is also an issue. But countries like Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and South Africa are quite similar in the way that they operate. And in that environment, it's what I know. I have the connections, I have the network, everything I need in order to basically make life as easy as possible for myself and the businesses that I advise and I'm involved in. In Nigeria, it's a little bit tougher because I'm a newbie. I haven't been here that long. I've only been here almost 2 years now, and so I don't necessarily have the network or the legal knowledge. I don't profess to know much about the Nigerian legal system at all. So it's a bit tougher for me in Nigeria, but that's just as a result of, when you've done a business for 30 years in a country, you build up a sort of a machine that can run smoothly, and when you're starting from scratch, it's a bit more difficult. So I can't really comment on the differences other than to say I'm familiar with the one and I'm less familiar with the other.
With the other, yeah. Really, really, really great stuff. So, describing businesses, what works for you? What industries do you prefer? What's like your investment thesis? Not just as an angel investor or an aspiring one, like you described, like you like to call yourself, even though I'm not going to bother you with that. But generally, what industries interest you the most?
Well, I am an aspiring investor, and that's why I'm obviously extremely happy and relieved to have found an organization like Lagos Angels Network, because you can try and invent the wheel yourself, but if you are leveraging off the knowledge of others, it makes your life a whole lot easier. So I don't have a specific. I have far more knowledge of real estate than any other sector. But for investment purposes, I don't limit myself to real estate. I will look at basically any field. Tech, you mentioned earlier my blockchain and NFT experience. So I do have an interest in that. However, as I say, anything, agriculture, manufacturing, whatever it may be, I'm happy to take a look at it because I don't really base any investment decisions on the sector, but rather on the founder, the character of the founder, the impression that I get from the founder. I'm very much a gut instinct type person.
I get that a lot.
That I form an opinion.
I get that a lot from you guys. This thing about gut instinct and being able to just look at a founder, and how does that work? Experience is the main thing, I believe. When you've dealt with enough people in your life, you come to know things, but you'll never get it 100%. Solomon. You'll never get it 100%. There's many people who can pull the wool over my eyes, and therefore, yes, and the character of the founder, the description of what they intend to do, are all well and good, but it's no substitute for a thorough due diligence once you have done it. And again, that's why I'm really pleased to be part of LAN, because you
guys do so much of the what can I call it, grunt work up front
Groundwork, yes,
in
groundwork.
in evaluating the people the founders that come to you, so that once we as investors get involved, it's already proceeded along a certain path of risk aversion, and then once you get to that stage, they should be reasonably vetted by LAN, and you think the founder is someone you can work with, and you think the business is something that has potential, then you can start a more thorough due diligence and start picking the numbers. I must tell you, I was not great at maths at school. I'm far better at words than numbers. That's why I became a lawyer. So that due diligence part, as it relates to financial aspects,
so the numbers,
is the least favorite part. The much more exciting part is the possibilities, and once the things get going and you can enjoy the ride. Sometimes the ride might not end well, but at least once the ride starts and you get beyond those initial number crunching days, then that's where the fun starts.
Then you're good for it. Yeah. So I'm going to tilt towards what I suspect that you may be more comfortable with, real estate. What has that been like, in Nigeria? How have you experienced it? Have you seen projects that got you excited? Are there prospects, as compared to South Africa? Our properties overvalued? Would you back a founder who's thinking prop tech, for example, or real estate? Just so many questions I want to ask you inside of the real estate space.
Okay, let me start by saying that I would not hold myself out as an expert on Nigerian real estate in any way, shape, or form. I have not invested in Nigerian real estate yet. I rent the apartment that I stay in, so I haven't actually committed anything to buy anything. My business basically is actually to assist Nigerians buy property in Dubai or London or South Africa. So we have a whole lot of options available for Nigerians to invest in those jurisdictions. When it comes to Nigeria, what I do know is that the title situation is probably the biggest obstacle to real estate investment in Nigeria. It seems to me that there is no absolute certainty on that. Although, as I say, I don't hold myself out to be an expert, but from what I've read and the people that I've spoken to, it seems I saw a statistic from a lady who's very prominent in the Lagos real estate industry that said something like 70% of Lagos properties do not have titles, or something to that effect, and that is scary, because where I come from, obviously I was in real estate, and in particular I was a conveyancer, which means that I attended to the registration of transfers of ownership of property, and I attended to registration of mortgage bonds and so on over the property, and we did quite a lot of property developments there. The one thing you can be sure of is that who the owner is of the property. It's very easy once you search at the deeds office to know who the owner is. So it's a little bit scary to me to come to a place where that is not the case. And I think that is where there is a real opportunity for people in Nigeria. I have, in South Africa, worked on a project. It in the end, it didn't pan out because one person unfortunately passed away. But they were doing the tokenization of real world assets, and in particular the tokenization of real estate. So basically creating NFTs for real estate. And because titles are really strong in South Africa, there's not really that much demand for it, except in one instance in tribal land in South Africa, they're generally held in a trust which is run by the chief and his advisors and so on, and they allocate land to members of the tribe. They're called PTOs, permissions to occupy, and the person who gets the permission to occupy basically has permission from the chief to stay there, build a house there, do whatever they want on their portion of land, but they have no ownership in the true sense of the word. And the biggest obstacle again there is you cannot obtain mortgage finance over a property that you do not own. So the people cannot economically exploit the land that they've been allocated. Now, what they were working on there was a system with the banks whereby mortgage bonds could be granted over NFTs for tokenized land. So that would be a game changer for members of the tribe who could then obtain an NFT for their allocated land by virtue of NFTs and the blockchain. As those who know about it will know that it's immutable, unchangeable, it's transparent. Therefore, it's everything that you really want to know about properties: who's the owner, and what's the size and the boundaries of it, and so on. So it, in my opinion, that's coming. The financing via mortgages of tokenized real-world assets, and in Nigeria, to me, that represents a real opportunity for someone. Of course, the biggest obstacle for anyone with any either real estate or IT knowledge to be able to take that project on would be obtaining government support and government regulations that could make it possible. Because without that, it's very difficult to see how it can be successful. Because the government could come along and say, no, that's not valid. So you've got to have buy-in from both the real estate people, the government, and the people with the IT knowledge to bring it into a product that can be used.
Awesome. So I think this is particularly a brilliant idea because it's an all-round solution, end to end. So in the course of that conversation, you had in making that point, you alluded to the knowledge of helping Nigerians buy properties in the UK, Dubai, and South Africa. Do you want to touch on that for a bit?
Okay, let's kick off with Dubai because it's the one I'm most excited about. It's the most amazing place with stunning opportunities, great ROI.
Let me pause you there and let you and just put it out there that I have a negative bias towards property in Dubai. I have that. So in dealing with people like me who have those concerns, you want to really address, I have that. If I hear buy a property in Dubai, I'll be like, hey, no. And you know that, Gareth, I like you a lot. You're my friend. I like, but immediately I hear that, I just tune out. And there may be investors like that, up on this call. So take that in mind and deal with us.
Okay, there's I don't know what your bias or concern is, but there can be two things that I think. One is there've been a lot of people who've been scammed, and the second one is that people are mentioning a potential property bubble in Dubai, similar to what's happened in China, where they built whole almost cities that are now virtually unoccupied because demand fell through the floor. We're a long way from there in Dubai, in my opinion. Again, I'm not an economist, but I have done enough research on this to know that several of the most prominent property developers and realtors in Dubai have compared via various economic models the Dubai market to London. And if you compare the two, they statistically have shown that Dubai is not as heated as London yet. And if London is not in any danger of crashing, if you believe that London is safe, you should believe via the economic
Dubai.
indicators that Dubai is safe. So crashing is the market crashing is, no one can 100% say that will never happen. But real estate is one of the great things that if you've invested in companies that go bang, they go bang, and you don't get your money back. You lose everything you put in. If the property market tanks, you still have a bricks and mortar asset in your hands that you can. Well, for one, you could stay in it if you wanted to, but secondly, it will bounce back eventually. If you've got time on your hands. I know it's not easy because you've got carrying costs like maintenance and taxes and things that you have to pay. So it may not be affordable. But if you can carry those costs for a while, it will bounce back and you will be okay. So that's on the bubble aspect. On the scamming side. At the moment, we are only selling properties because I'm an agent with Damak. For those who are unfamiliar with Dubai, Damak is probably the second biggest property developer in Dubai. If you land at the airport in Dubai and you drive down the main road past the Burj in the city centre and you carry on to Marina where the Palm Jumeirah and so on are located, all the way along you will see multi-story buildings. I'm not talking 10 or 20, I'm talking more than that.
I know them.
With the Max logo on top. So when it comes to a scam, you can be as sure as possible that you're dealing with a reputable entity because they have built hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of square meters of, not hundreds, thousands of square meters of property. So if for example, the most efficient way to invest in Dubai is to buy off plan, because you can pay in installments and then finance it once 35 to 50% of the building is complete. So there are options. People are hesitant to buy off plan because they say, I'm buying something that doesn't exist. How do I know it's going to be completed?
Exactly.
When it's completed, how can you know it's completed? You can never be 100% sure, but you can be pretty sure when it comes to Damak or Imar or one of these big developers because their track record speaks for itself. So that's Dubai. London is London. Everyone knows it's a safe bet. The property value will increase, but not as rapidly as Dubai or South Africa or Nigeria. So you take a small knock on the return on investment in exchange for security and risk aversion. South Africa is, by comparison, value for money. If you're looking for value for money, look in South Africa. Even compared to Nigeria, some of these apartments in Eco Atlantic and so on are going for ridiculous prices that are equivalent to maybe Cape Town in South Africa. But you can buy a 6-bedroom, 6-bathroom house on a golf estate in South Africa for the price of a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom apartment in Eco Atlantic. So value for money, and I mean, if you compare it to Dubai or London, there's just absolutely no comparison.
There'll be people who would argue with you that Cape Town doesn't have the crowd, doesn't have the market that Lagos has, and so maybe that explains for the value of the property that we have going on.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not an economist. I can't tell you exactly what the reason is why some property in Lagos seems to me to be overvalued by comparison with what you get elsewhere in the world. Elsewhere like Nairobi, anywhere in South Africa, Joburg, Cape Town, Durban. It does seem it's comparable to Cape Town, where Cape Town is. I understand why Cape Town is expensive, because foreign investors have driven the prices through the roof beyond what locals can afford. what's driving the Nigerian market, the ones particularly the Lagos market. I mean, if you drive out of my apartment here in VI and you go down the road, you met with non-stop building cranes left and right. You turn up the road, you go over the bridge into Ikoyi, there's non-stop building cranes. If you go to Lekki, non-stop building cranes. The developers in this area must believe there's massive demand, because otherwise they wouldn't be building. No one's an idiot that builds if they think they won't be able to sell. Well, okay, some people are idiots, but
so I'm thinking that a lot of those properties are already sold because they are sold off plan. So I don't think the developers are building in anticipation of sale. I think a lot of them already have the funding from sales, so to do.
Yep, well, that would be wise. That would be wise. I don't know what each individual developer's business plan or plan of attack is to do the development. So yeah, I don't know if that's always the case, because there are many advertising boards up and so on for places to buy in Eco Atlantic where the building is still being built. So yeah, so there must be a certain element of pre-sales, but there must also be a certain element of risk, I think, being adopted. And that's just like conjecture, because I don't know for a fact. The point that I was making though anyway is that you can buy some 6-bedroom, 6-bathroom houses at the very best golf estates in South Africa, for example, that are 100% secure with ocean views and whatnot, and you will get the same. You'll get a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom apartment in Dubai for the same amount of money, dollar for dollar. So
dollar for dollar.
So yeah, you got Dubai. It's the flavor of the month. The returns on investment are great. The rentals are great. There's a very low vacancy, so it's a good place for the investor who's looking for the maximum return. London is the safe haven. South Africa is the value for money. That's our 3 markets that we operate in.
Great stuff. So let's come back home to angel investing and ask you, so as you go along on this journey, what factors from building from the years of experience in business as a commercial lawyer and real estate expert, what factors would you look out for in a startup or a business that you're considering to put your money in?
Okay, well, as I said at the beginning, the founder is the be all and end all of the business. I'll get a feel for the founder based on an initial due diligence, which was hopefully be done by LAN. And then I will start my own due diligence. Are they overestimating the market size? Are they alleging that they have a special or breakthrough product, whereas in actual fact there are already others who are first to market? It's not essential that they're first to market, but if they're not first to market, what are they going to do better than those who are first to market to grab market share? So yeah, you look at the size of the market, you look at what they're going to do to grab market share. You look broadly at their business plan. I'm not a stickler for the format of the business plan. I mean, there's some people who are charging so much money to write up business plans and so on. I just want to know basically who's involved, what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and is there a market for the product. It should be scalable, but not necessarily that you want to be Uber or Netflix or something that you're going to scale worldwide. If you scale locally within Nigeria or within your own area of Nigeria, or even just in one city, that should be fine. but your numbers then should reflect that your intention is only to operate in Lagos, for example, and that your estimate of the market size and your ability to penetrate that market, even though it's only one city, would still justify an investment. And then obviously the investment size that the founder is looking for, and in particular, how that investment, how they intend utilizing that investment.
Great. Well, this has really been straight to it, and I can thank you enough for your insights so far. So, last question, and I'm going to let you run away. There's this deal that you did that you love, or this deal that you did that went south and you want to share. Which of them would it be? Which one would you like to share?
Let's go deal that went south.
Okay.
We learn more from our mistakes than from our successes.
Indeed.
I had a company with another gentleman called Heritage Property Portfolio, where our plan was to buy cheapish buildings that are somewhat neglected in the Joburg city centre and refurb them. And in particular, the heritage properties, there are some beautiful buildings in the city of Johannesburg, the city centre. But because all businesses have moved out to Sandton, and Rosebank and these areas, the city is decayed to a certain extent. And yet when you walk into these fantastic buildings, I'm a lover of architecture. I think instead of a lawyer, I should probably have been an architect. But in the days when I went to university, you had to be able to draw. There was no CAD CAM design tools. You had to be able to actually draw the thing with a pen.
Yeah.
I battled to draw a stick figure. So anyway, my architectural interest is what led me to that. And unfortunately, my co-owner there and I were really overcome by the architectural opportunities, and we couldn't find any financial backing to support our love of the architecture. So we threw a lot of time and money into it. He threw even more than me into it. I'm told, I won't even tell you how much money, but it was a lot, and it was a lot of my time. And we spent so much on it, and we had options on buildings. We had offers to purchase on buildings, subject to getting finance, and in the end, no one wanted to finance it, because we saw it as acquiring a couple of buildings and regenerating the area. Whereas I think all finance people, all they could see was the area as it is. And so our dream and our vision didn't match with the hard reality of the financial institutions.
Wow.
So I think we spent 3 or 4 years on that, flogging a dead horse, so to speak. And
so the area didn't pick up at all?
No. There are a couple of guys, a couple of developers who are regenerating city centre areas of Joburg, Pretoria, Cape Town, but they do it more on converting offices into low-cost housing projects. Because there's no more large companies taking up office buildings there. There's no demand for them, so it makes perfect sense that to convert them into that. So that relates more to office type buildings and not to the beautiful historical heritage properties that we dreamed of refurbishing.
Wow. Gareth, thank you so much. This has been really brilliant. Any last words for the founders who might be watching this, or even fellow investors?
Well, fellow investors, I've got great opportunities for you in Dubai, London, and South Africa. Speak to me. Finance is available. We can work to get money out if we need to, but I don't profess to be an expert in that either. For potential founders, keep trying. Never give up. If you have the vision, keep trying. Take advice from people like Solomon and LAN. Improve your product offering. If you improve with every bit of feedback that you get from potential investors or from LAN or from anyone else, if you take that on board each time, your product gets better and better, and you stand more and more chance of impressing an investor.
Thank you so much, Gareth. It's been amazing. We had fun listening in and really gleaning from your insights. I can thank you enough. Thank you so much. And we'll be in touch. We'll see you at the back end normally, like we would do. But to everyone else, it's a wrap, and we're grateful.